The Air Force, a third edition of the war. World War II was the first to introduce this new type of warfare that was used on enemy soil. The Germans, famous for their blitzkrieg, sent the Allies into emergence to create their own form of air defense. Although pre-war, the world was going through a Great Depression, and countries such as Canada had a hard time funding the Air Force. This made the job of the EAC, or the Eastern Air Command, extremely hard, which was located in Halifax. Their job consisted of defending Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Prince Edward Island. The famous U-boats of the Germans would rip through the Atlantic Ocean to pursue an attack on Canada. And with Canada's inexperience and low-budget Air Force, they suffered devastating losses and caused practically no damage against these massive German ships. These U-boats had reached just over 1,000 kilometers from the shores of Newfoundland. And in 1939, this is when the British introduced something called the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan, which funded countries such as Canada, Australia, and New Zealand to train pilots and create factories to produce a reputable air force. Canada is where this plan profited the most. Over 3,000 Canadians would graduate from these air training schools monthly. This aided the Royal Canadian Air Force in becoming the fourth strongest amongst the Allies, with over 200,000 Royal Canadian Air Force soldiers. Under the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan, a new division had been established, a new division that the world has yet to see. It was strictly for women. This division was called the Royal Canadian Air Force Women's Division, or more commonly known as the WD. This division had been founded and launched by 1942. It had a total of roughly 17,000 women enlisted. Although women were not part of any bombing raids or any dangerous tasks, they participated in either passenger missions on familiarization flights or for specific work such as bombing photography. When the war began, bombing commanding aircrafts consisted of single-engine aircrafts and twin-engine aircraft, such as the Wellington. 5 years later, these sturdy warhorses were replaced by fast twin-engine Mosquitoes and large four-engine heavy bombers. The Halifax and the Lancaster were heavy bombers. Mosquitoes were regularly carried 4,000-pound blockbusters as far as Berlin, and the normal bomb load was 4 to 5 tons of high explosives and incendiary bombs. Bombs had grown from the 500-pounder used in the first raids in September 1939 to the giant, earth-shaking 10-ton Tessie. The whole technique of bombing had been completely transformed by the use of radars, which guided the aircraft to the target, identified the objective even when a cloud had completely covered the ground, and told the bomb aimer precisely when to let his bomb drop. Pathfinders led the way for the bomber in pinpointing and marking where the target flares should be placed. This had made bombing extremely effective and extremely dangerous. As you can see, the Air Force's main tactic, bombing, left towns destroyed and obliterated. This method of war was extremely destructive. It left the opponent crippled. This aided the Allies to assured victory and helped end the war.
The advance of technological developments resulted in the ultimate in firepower. The atomic age will see the further development of airborne devices beyond the conception of man. Because of the mobility, speed, and potency of weapons to be, air war, the third dimensional aspect, must be recognized as the primary determinant in attaining a military victory.
That's